Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Studios with your weather update here on your August the 12th, 2026. Well, things not looking all that bad out there for this afternoon. Definitely a lot less active than it was yesterday. And boy, the short-term models did a terrible job with the stuff yesterday. But today they're lining up a little bit better. Still might see some storms kind of sneak in here for tonight. And looks like we're definitely heading toward a significant heat wave here. Going to last a little while with some of the hottest temperatures of the summer thus far. And we're going to break it all down for you here in this update. Now, if you're new here to our YouTube channel and you live anywhere across North Georgia, let me introduce myself as your personal weatherman on a mission to turn this into a professional 24-hour channel. It's all about the numbers. It really is. Got to have the numbers there. So please subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on weather updates, as well as any potential live severe weather updates we will do exclusively for North Georgia when the weather warrants it. Okay, let's get into today's report, shall we? Let's take a look there in Dahlonega. Looking pretty nice. A lot of sunshine. A few fair weather clouds out there. Temperatures warm, but not overly hot just yet. That'll be coming our way here real soon. Here in Braselton, outside my backyard, currently looking at 90 degrees here right now. I did pick up about a quarter inch of rain last night, but a lot of the heavier rains were up there across the northern border. The storms that were kind of dropping down into our area kind of fizzled on out as they moved through North Georgia, but it was a nice little rain event because we may not see one of those for a while, folks. I think we're going to be a bit on the dry side. Now, looking at the radar, we are favoring more activity down here toward the south. You see that down here toward areas down there toward Columbus and over toward Warner Robins. Got some stuff over here in Alabama. Some stuff there just to the west of town. And again, might get a few isolated storms this afternoon. And we're going to be watching closely to see what goes on to the north. Here's the regional perspective. You can see the severe thunderstorm warnings are lining up down here across South Georgia right now, but otherwise looking pretty quiet for the most part here across North Georgia and up into Tennessee. That's where we kind of look to see if anything kind of drops down this way. We've had a lot of what we call MCSs. That's your multi-cell storms that kind of feed off each other that have been rolling through areas of Indiana and Illinois once again. Not as powerful as that derecho, very strong severe weather complex that moved through yesterday, but they're getting hit once again. And we'll see if any of this energy kind of works their way down our way going into tonight. Now, once we get through tonight, folks, the trend is going to be for that high-pressure dome we've been talking about for days now to really establish itself, and we will be seeing some of the hottest temperatures of the season moving into our area. So enjoy these temperatures, which really aren't bad, look fairly seasonable for the most part out there currently out here in the early afternoon hours into the 80s. We'll top out in the 90s, but they're definitely heading upward. The big thing that you're going to notice the difference here is looking at the alerts that are out there. The orange is just consuming more and more of the south. What I suspect is going to happen, if it's not tomorrow, but in the days ahead, well, we're going to feel in a lot of this area. We're probably only going to see maybe extreme northeast Georgia not be under the advisory as we did on the last one. But things will definitely be filling in with the heat, and it's going to be sticking around here for a little bit, okay? Now, the severe weather alert here for today. We are under a marginal risk. You notice this. Again, we're going to be seeing if any of this activity works their way down. The models are not overly gung-ho with anything just yet, but we know how they did yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens with this. And, of course, with that, we have also the threat of some heavy rains we got to watch out for. So you can see there, that's your day one outlook here. Again, as we've seen here just in the last week or so, obviously with some of these storms, is they don't move very fast. They can jump a lot of heavy rains in a short amount of time. But after today, things really start to dry out. Here's your Thursday outlook here. Friday, again, a lot of North Georgia quiet. Saturday, maybe parts of North Georgia getting in there a little bit. I only have a slight chance of rain on Saturday. And then Sunday, we're completely dry. So the trend is for drier and hotter conditions here for going into next week. So if your air conditioner's if you've been on borrowed time and putting that off, just make sure your air filters are changed out on your air conditioners, and make sure you don't have any grass or anything growing on the outside unit. We need to make sure it can breathe to cool you off. All right, now let's look at the tropics right now. We did get Cristobal. It wasn't down here. It's out. This one that was up here in the northern Atlantic. It's not going to last long, but that right there is officially our sea storm. That's our Cristobal right now. So top winds on that right now, sitting at 45 miles per hour. This thing will fizzle on out. So the next named storm is Hello Dolly. So we'll see if we get Dolly out of this one, which is still running very high as far as its probability of getting something in there, still running about 80%. So we should get a depression or perhaps a storm to form in there any time. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, but in the next couple of days, I think we'll get something. The only problem is once it gets over here into the areas of the Atlantic, into the Caribbean, the winds over here are not good. We got some high winds that are blowing through here, and I don't know if it'll survive that or not. If it does, then we really pay attention, because if it gets into the Gulf, we'll have the game on at that point. But right now, I don't know if that thing's going to survive or not. So we'll keep a track on it. We'll keep an eye on it. Regional model. Okay, let's go through this here. We're going to look at the high resolution model. For some reason, the RRFS did not initialize, so it's down right now. So we're going to use the high resolution model. Look at that little timestamp there in the top right-hand corner there. And as you can see here for this evening, it's not lighting up a whole lot here. So you see a few storms there coming in overnight, a little late, kind of sneaking in down the south there. See a few of those storms like we had last night, but nowhere near as pronounced as those were. And this settles onto the south. And then as we go in forward tomorrow, I'm not seeing a whole lot. There's still an isolated storm up near the Chattanooga area, northwest Georgia. They're showing up a little bit. But again, the trend here is for limited rain chances and not a whole lot here. So everything will be kind of very spotty here, to say the least. So this is the next 2 days, not showing a whole lot of rain here across Georgia area. So weather maps, again, not showing any major features getting into this area. That is normal by August standards. We've been very fortunate to even have cold fronts to make their way down into our areas. We have most of the summer, but looks like we're in store just for the big heat to set up, because the high pressure is not only setting up at the surface, it's in the upper levels, and the jet stream is going to be way to the north, and it's going to keep us under the heat dome at least into, I think, the middle portions of next week. All right, so looking at our forecast here for your Thursday, 94-74 there in the Gainesville area. Again, temperatures in Gainesville are supposed to be like 88 degrees, so we're running above normal there for your highs. Your lows are your highs for tomorrow here across the southeast. Again, looking pretty steamy for the most part. Let me back this up again. I apologize. Let me get this reset here for you for the morning. You get the idea. Everybody's going to be in the 70s here in the morning. Maybe a few 60s up in the mountains. And then as we go into the afternoon, again, a lot of 90s out there, showing 96 in Atlanta and as well as Calhoun, 95 up there in Lafayette. Of course, the Northeast Georgia mountains are in the upper 80s. But again, the heat's really going to be building, and more and more of the South, North Georgia will get consumed with those the heat advisories coming our way. Regional looking like this. I mean, look at this. We got hundreds over here toward Jackson and Memphis and Jonesboro and Palo Bluff, and a lot of upper 90s in here. It's going to be very steamy all across the southeast with very high heat indices here going into next week. So next 7 days, here we go. This is Gainesville. I got us in 97, 96 range going from Friday straight through next Tuesday. So very hot. The European model continues to pop. The hottest day probably on Monday, lighting up to 102 still air in the Atlanta area, which would be a new record high if they do that. So again, very hot, very steamy over the next week or so. All right, now we still got a chance for a few storms here for tonight, and I got to tell you, the feedback from you guys on this weather app's been awesome. A lot of folks saying they absolutely love it, and if you haven't downloaded yet, what you waiting for? It is absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime, okay? So you can go to the Apple Store, go to Google Play, put in North Georgia Majestic Weather, download the weather app. Again, really made for you folks that are just, just want to know the straightforward what's going on. Download this. It's sponsored by our weather app sponsor, Roof It Forward out of Woodstock, Georgia. If you are in need of a roof, you've been putting it off, give them a call. They're going to take care of you. Good customer service, as well as great craftsmanship, and they give a portion of every job back to local children's charity. Their motto is, together we can roof it forward, and they are truly a great organization. We thank them for being our weather app sponsor. Again, folks, looks like we're in store for a quieter weather day here with the storms. That's good. Might still have some around here for this evening, but the trend is for drier and hotter. So please take the steps to make sure you take care of your pets, make sure the elderly are not, sweltering. Make sure your AC systems are good to go, as this is probably going to linger more into next week before we see a change. I really don't see a big substantial pattern change coming our way. Maybe not until we get into early September. September looks like some indications are we'll get a flip-flop where the high will be out in the west and big trough in the east, but we got to wait on that. We got to get through the month of August. All right, again, appreciate you guys checking us out here on the YouTube channel. Please give us a subscribe. Our goal here is to get this channel to 50,000 subscribers, so we got a long way to go, and every one of y'all count. Y'all part of this is y'all's channel. I'm just the advocate. That's the way I look at it. So please hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all weather updates. All right, that'll do it for today. Y'all be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.